Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Great America Show. It's great to have you with us on this fine, fine day in America. The government shutdown is officially underway, and it's the Schumer shutdown. Make no mistake about it. This is what we voted for, folks. We voted for truth, justice in the American way. We voted for accountability, and that's exactly what Donald Trump and Mike Johnson and John Thune are doing right now. It's accountability at the forefront. The Democrats refusing to cave on their demand for health care for illegals, for any sort of subsidies for illegals, for subsidies for transgender surgeries for minors. Dude, I don't have to rehash what the Democrats want. You folks all out there know what they want. It's the same thing they've wanted for the last 10 years. They want to fundamentally change America. And for the first time in my lifetime, I am watching a united Republican Party stand strong against Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries, stand strong against their tyranny, and what they've done to this country and the destruction and the course that they've tried to put this country on. For the first time, we're seeing it. We're watching a speaker with some sort of intestinal fortitude to tell Hakeem Jeffries to go to hell. For President Trump to tell them to go to hell. Americans overwhelmingly voted for this on November 5th. The Democrats still just can't seem to get it through their head. Now, J.D. Vance was at the podium today, and he had a few words to say for Chuck Schumer, who is being, make no mistake about it, guided by Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and the Marxist wing of the party. Take a listen.
I think a lot of Americans are asking themselves, why did this happen? Why did the Democrats shut down the government despite, as Caroline said, voting on the exact same piece of legislation 6 months ago? And there are a lot of different spins that we can put on it, a lot of different answers that we could give, all of them true. One answer I already gave is that they want to give health care benefits to illegal aliens. That is true. They gave us legislative text that would have undone us cutting off health care benefits for illegal aliens. That's one of the things that they asked for. But the reality here, and let's be honest about the politics, is that Chuck Schumer is terrified she's going to get a primary challenge from Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. The reason why the American people's government is shut down is because Chuck Schumer is listening to the far left radicals in his own party because he's terrified of a primary challenge. So I'd invite Chuck Schumer to join the moderate Democrats and 52 Senate Republicans, do the right thing, open up the people's government, and then let's fix healthcare policy for the American people.
By moderate Democrats, J.D. Vance is talking merely about John Fetterman. Never did we think when Fetterman beat Dr. Oz in Pennsylvania that this man would be a voice of reason for the Democratic Party. But this is a man who's spoken with some sort of common sense, much unlike what you're hearing from AOC and Chuck Schumer and the rest of the Democrats. Truly remarkable. Now, Chuck Schumer was on this morning with CNN, and he was asked about owning the shutdown. Wait till you hear his response, or lack thereof.
Every Republican who's gone on TV the last 12 hours or so has called this the Schumer shutdown. What do you say about that name? Senator Schumer, can you hear me?
I can't hear.
Senator Schumer, can you hear me? I don't think Senator Schumer can hear me right now. Maybe the government shutdown included audio on Capitol Hill.
I think Senator Schumer chose not to hear you, Mr. CNN, because he knows it's his shutdown. He knows that he and Jeffries, two professional politicians, are backed into a corner right now because they cannot simply do the right thing. Now, Donald Trump is going to win this fight. The Republicans are going to win this fight. It's just a matter of time and a matter of how long the Democrats want to hold out. Every day that goes by, they hurt themselves. Take a listen to Mike Johnson on it.
Last night, two Democrats and an independent flipped and came along with the Republicans. But it looks like, and what we expect, is that most of the Democrats in the Senate, again, will reject the clean CR that we sent over. It's clean. What that means is it's nonpartisan. We didn't add any Republican priorities or poison pills or gimmicks or tricks into that at all. It's 24 pages. I mean, everybody can read it for themselves. It simply continues the Biden-era spending levels that Chuck Schumer and the Democrats have already supported in the past. They just did it most recently in March, and he gave long speeches about how it was so critically important that we not shut the government down. There's nothing for me to give. There's nothing to negotiate. I don't have any Republican priorities to put on the table because we sent over a clean CR, and that's why none of this makes sense.
Okay, so
Mike Johnson, that's as clear and concise as I've heard him speak, perhaps since taking over as speaker. Very, very simple. Now, Donald Trump trying to make light of this entire thing, having a little jab at Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries. And he posted this meme the other day, and I think it's absolutely hysterically brilliant. Let's watch.
There's no way to sugarcoat it. Nobody likes Democrats anymore. We have no voters left because of all of our woke trans bullshit. Not even black people want to vote for us anymore. Even Latinos hate us. So we need new voters. And if we give all these illegal aliens free health care, we might be able to get them on our side so they can vote for us. They can't even speak English, so they won't realize we're just a bunch of woke pieces of shit, you know, at least for a while until they learn English and they realize they hate us too.
As President Trump doing a little trolling. Now, Schumer and Jeffries absolutely melting down about it. J.D. Vance was asked about it today, and he made a promise to Schumer and Jeffries. If they just open up the government again, here's what his promise was.
So the president's been posting some images of Leader Jeffries and Senator Schumer.
I saw
recently. You've said that you're interested in good faith negotiations with these leaders, but what message does that send? Is it helpful just to post pictures of Leader Jeffries in a sombrero if you're trying to have good faith talks with him?
Oh, I think it's funny. The president's joking, and we're having a good time. You can negotiate in good faith while also poking a little bit of fun at some of the absurdities of the Democrats' positions, and even poking some fun at the absurdity of the Democrats themselves. I mean, I'll tell Hakeem Jeffries right now, I make this solemn promise to you that if you help us reopen the government, the sombrero memes will stop. And I've talked to the President of the United States about that. Now,
making light of the situation the Democrats have got us in. There you go, Hakeem. The ball is in your court. Folks, I want to bring in our guest today, at least one of our guests. We got a surprise guest joining us after the commercial break, but I want to bring in our favorite guest, the great Mark Mitchell. Mark, what says you? What's going on in the federal government?
Well, I'm celebrating today. I stayed up late, 1 a.m. We popped a cork at midnight when we watched it was like New Year's Eve. It was a celebration on my stream. We had a really great time. This is what Americans have been craving. They don't like the direction of the country. They think that we're being spent into oblivion. They think the future of today's children has been stolen from them, and they want to see the government shut down to achieve cuts. So congratulations, Republicans. Trump came out there and led from the front. He very clearly stepped away from the negotiation table. But, the way I see Mike Johnson's doing a really good job, and man, the stuff out of J.D. Vance, like, bravo, incredible.
Yeah, you're selling me on JD a little bit, Mark. I've been optimistic about him, and he's only doing a great job. But as I say, there's so many people in this Trump administration right now who are doing a terrific job getting the message through and getting everything squared away. Mike Johnson, he's managed to surprise me time and time again. The fact that he's united and he's got his caucus united behind standing up to the Marxist Democrats. It makes me extremely proud that these people may finally have their act together, Mark.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, we'll find out. There's some people I would like to talk to understand a little bit better what's going on in the halls of Capitol Hill, because my feeling is that the establishment is very big, rich, and powerful, and the establishment wants to maintain its course. And so we have not had very long shutdowns. The longest was 35 days. Yeah. And before that, I think it was only 16 days. I would love to see 3 years, because Americans are going to love when Donald Trump finally takes the Doge chainsaw to the government. That, I think, would shoot his numbers up to like 60% approval rating. But I think that those people are probably getting calls around the clock off the hook from K Street that's worried that they're going to get some contracts cut, or they're not. I think there's probably some serious damage that this can do to the establishment. They're not happy right now.
No, they're not, and I have to imagine John Thune is probably withering away over on the Senate side, trying to figure out how he's going to get himself out of this mess. I don't know how long it goes on. You said you have some questions, so I guess we'll break the news. We got Congressman Tim Burchett. He's going to be joining us in just a few moments on the other side of our show break. So we'll try to make sense of what's going on with him. We're going to keep Mark with us through the break to try to get some sense on what he's going on. He's one of the straightest speakers, one of the straightest shooters in Congress. Doesn't sugarcoat anything, tells you how it is, if it's bad for the Republicans or bad for the Democrats. So we'll get his take in just a few moments. So where do we go from here, Mark? I mean, how long does this thing last, in your opinion?
I don't know. I would say the calculus on this one is different. And first off, the country is thinking about this shutdown kind of differently. We did a really long video about the polling, and usually the only poll you hear about is the blame game. Well, here's the thing. A lot of Trump voters are blaming Trump and Republicans for the shutdown. It's because 3/4 of them won it. So there is that. But the one that got me is like, we asked how likely is a shutdown, and usually ahead of these shutdowns, it's like 50 couple percent. And the last time in the spring, it was like 60 couple. This one was 70%. So on both sides of the aisle, Americans were like, yeah, it's probably going to shut down. Congress can't work through their issues. And so to me, that like is escalating political hostility. Oh, and then we find out, it looks like George Soros's organizations are donating to far left groups to call the congressman and tell the Democrats to keep it shut down. You go on Reddit, they want the government shut down too. They're going to scream for Schumer to resign if he caves in. And so on both sides of the aisle, the Republicans aren't going to budge and the Democrats don't seem to be allowed to.
But who does this hurt more? In my opinion, I don't see how the Republicans get hurt. Donald Trump is doing exactly what he said he was going to do, holding strong on fundamental things, keeping men out of women's sports, getting rid of these transgender government-funded surgeries, getting illegals off of every single government subsidy when you have Americans who can't afford health care and Americans living on the street. I mean, you go down the list of things that Donald Trump promised, and everything and almost every reason that this government is shut down right now is because of one of those things. So I'm not sure what the Democrats thought they were getting themselves into, but this is, in my opinion, I've been in this game for, over 10 years, Mark. It's not a winning argument for the Democrats, no matter what way you look at it.
No. Well, also, I think they just lost like 100,000 more federal workers last night, tendered their resignation. That's what I heard. Unsourced, but I know there was a big number being floated around. That almost doubles the Doge cut, so that's real. That's a big thing. And then also, we're going to see this actually majorly affect our deficit if it stays shut down for a while. But I really wonder what the calculus is. It might be something that we're not considering. Like, for instance, maybe the Democrats' choice is, well, if we come back to the table and negotiate, we sign a clean CR, we go back to, we're talking about a rescission bill. And I think they might be really, 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 really afraid of what gets into a rescission bill this time. And so maybe a government shutdown is palatable for them.
Let's find out. We're going to take a quick break here. On the other side, we're going to ask Mark to hang with us. We're going to be joined by a friend of mine, one of the greatest members to walk the halls of Congress, one of the greatest gentlemen in that building, that swamp, I should say, the great Tim Burchett. He joins us on the other side of this quick break, folks. Please stay with us. We're coming right back on The Great America Show.
I'm excited to announce that we're having a huge sale on overstock and brand new products. For example, MyPillow Percale bed sheets, every color, every style, every size, only $29.88. Our Percale bed sheets are breathable, cool and crisp, and they're perfect for spring and summer. And check out Rev 7, the next generation of energy drinks. It tastes great, and it gives you energy all day with no jitters and no crashes. Best of all, it's actually good for you. And for a limited time, try our 3-pack absolutely free. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save 20% on our Rev 7 12-packs, or try our introductory 3-pack absolutely free. And our Percale bed sheets, all sizes, only $29.88. Twin size, full size, queen size, king sizes, all $29.88. Inventory is extremely limited at this price, so order now.
Thanks, everybody, for staying with us here on The Great America Show. Now, as promised, we've got Mark Mitchell stay with us through that commercial break, and the great Congressman Tim Burchett. Congressman, how goes it? What's happening in D.C. these days?
Well, I'm not in D.C., obviously. I'm in God's country in East Tennessee, but because the House did their business. We passed a bill to keep the government open. We had one Democrat defector, I guess, that voted with us. I guess you could say it's bipartisan. I know Nancy Pelosi, if the shoe was on the other foot, she talked about this incredible bipartisan support they have for the bill. But the reality is it's in the Senate, and Schumer has it. And can I give you my theory on this? And I've actually...
Please.
Rudy Giuliani of New York even said he believes it. So I was thinking about this, and why is Schumer out there on this limb? You know, you look at some videos of him just, I don't know, 10, 20 years ago when he wasn't flipping raw hamburgers with cheese on them in a fabricated photo or waving his hands around like he's in one of my good conservative churches here in East Tennessee. He was, he talked about conservative things, what we would say semi-moderate things, not giving illegals health care, things like that, and taking it away from hardworking Americans. And why is he doing this? Why is he going to die on the beach of transgender surgery, health care, wild environmental programs overseas, promoting or propping up NPR and public television with yours and my money when private and when other publicly owned television and media outlets are not given a dime? Well, because he's looking in his rearview mirror. He sees what's happening in New York City right now. They're getting ready to elect a communist mayor. That's not really his base as much as we'd like to say. It's more AOC's base. And that's who he sees in his rearview mirror, is my buddy Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. And she'll bring all that money, Marxist money, out of Hollywood all over the country overnight. Multi-million dollars in fundraising when she announces she's running for the Senate. And she will be a force to be reckoned with. Right. And so Schumer knows that. And that's why he will wreck the country to stay in power. And that's exactly what he's trying to do. And stay in power. I mean, these guys, they all stay past their prime. You know, I hope when I get to that age, they say, man, you need to go home, play with the grandkids or something. Yeah. You know, play on the farm. That's right. Work on them old motorcycles you got in the barn. Do something. But this guy, look, that's the only, and Hakeem Jeffries, Hakeem's out there talking about we're willing to work. Well, no, they weren't. They wouldn't even negotiate with us before. Yeah. And frankly, we didn't need them. I'm glad we didn't compromise. We didn't bend the knee, because when we got over the Senate, it'd be worse. And now you've got 3 Democrat defectors so far in the Senate, and you'll probably see more. These polling numbers are going to start dropping. The one thing the Democrat Party really has going for them, though, is the Republican Party. Our messaging stinks. We're the worst. You know, I put a video out about in 2 days, it got 1.5 million views. Wow. 1.5 million views. That's incredible. I'm the 435th most powerful member of Congress, dadgummit. and I'm putting that thing out, and people are just going crazy over it. And it's because I said the truth. I just said, look, they're going to defund the government to pay for illegal health care and transgender surgery. And they're going to take $50 billion from rural health care. Some little God-fearing woman out there is pregnant, getting ready to have a baby, and the Democrats are cutting her health care to give to illegals. Are you kidding me? But that's exactly what they're doing. And don't let them lie to you and tell you otherwise, because they just want to restore everything back under the prior deal under Biden. And they'll say, oh, but it's illegal for illegals to get health care. Yeah. And why did $8.4 billion in health care in California go to illegals? Ask them that. It's a documented fact.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question, Representative. That makes sense to me. It's like, okay, Chuck Schumer would like to burn it all down to rule over the ashes. But why does the core, in my opinion, it seems like George Soros is putting money behind this effort to keep the government shut down. You go to places like Reddit, all of the insane lefties are just, they want it shut down. They're going to lose in the court of public opinion on this, because the media has shifted drastically since the last shutdown. And I think Trump is going to cut a lot of things. So they're putting themselves in a really tough position. And the only reason I could maybe come up with is like they're afraid of what might go into a rescission bill, and this is more palatable. But if there's another reason, love to hear it.
Well, the only reason they're doing it is because in the past, they've just fed their talking points from their leadership, and they're just like a bunch of lemmings out there. They just pop up out of the hole and take it. And they're used to the ABC, NBC, CBS, CNNs, MSNBC, The View, you know, mimicking and following and making everything they say just seem so realistic. And, oh, man, yeah, you'd be an idiot not to believe that. American public is not an idiot. They have turned on those folks. They are sick of this stuff. The inner cities are not getting better until Trump brings in the National Guard. Drug situation is, we've shut the border down, and people know it. These illegals are being deported, and they know it, and they're sick of seeing what they were told didn't exist, and now they're seeing it, and they know it exists. Yeah. And frankly, the people in these inner cities are run over by this crime. I can't stand to see another mama get on there and talk about losing her poor little baby, because that just, to me, is heartbreaking, and that can all be avoided.
Yeah. You mentioned the cities, and I covered this today. Part of the show is your governor is a Republican governor. Now he's hamstrung by a Marxist Democrat mayor running Memphis that's crime-ridden. Yet your governor has acknowledged that there's crime in the city. Come on in, federal government, and clean this place up. It's one thing that the Democrats just can't seem to get through their thick skulls. Crime is not a right or left issue. It's an American issue. And if there's crime, send in whoever you've got to send in to get these people out of there. Why is that so hard for them to understand?
It's the Schumer effect. Our minorities and our inner cities are overrun with grifters, the people that come in there and, these preachers and say, oh, they're out to get you. They play the race card, and it's worked forever, but it's not working anymore because, again, their kids are being left behind. You're seeing some of these these colleges and institutions that are run by some of these people getting 22% graduation rate or something. It's just not, it's not happening. And they're sick of it. They're sick of the Al Sharpton types. And I'm glad to see it. You're seeing record numbers of minorities. I had lunch the other day with a guy who bought at an auction, had lunch with me, which is crazy because he could just find out one of my haunts and wait for me there every other day just about and order ahead of me because they already know what I'm ordering. And I said, dude, why, you're Hispanic. Tell me why you like Donald Trump. He said, I like Donald Trump because he's successful and he backs it up. And this guy was successful and he backed it up. And, he came here with nothing, became an American citizen, him and his beautiful bride. They started a family. They got businesses and they are just busting it and living the American dream. And then you see some clown show like Joy Reid was on the news the other night talking about how, or on some interview, and I don't know why because she's paid a lot. It was a talking head. I don't know what her qualifications were, but she was talking about they want to return us to the days where people made a lot of money and they got to keep it all and they didn't pay taxes. And I'm like, so that's exactly what I voted for. That's why I voted for Donald J. Trump, brother.
Mark.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think this election was about two things. It was about a lack of trust in the government and also a return to a focus on economic populism, because what you talk about Republican messaging, and they don't really seem to focus on this, not all of them ubiquitously. And America's hurting, like all of the numbers, like only 22% of people think today's children will be better off than their parents. A lot of the 18 to 39-year-olds aren't even like capitalist anymore because they think the system failed them. And all I hear is people patting themselves on the back about how Gen Z is the most conservative. They're not. They're the most pro-Trump. But the Republican Party is not winning these people, and I don't know how to fix that.
Yeah, well, I think we better start listening to folks and quit telling them. It's that Charlie Kirk effect on these campuses. Yeah. These kids are just pushed down so much by these college professors. And that's another problem we got. Everybody's all puffed up on the right wingers and conservatives. Oh, look what we're doing. We're kicking all these college professors off. Well, I don't know. Y'all know what kudzu is? No. Kudzu, the plant. Well, it's a plant that grows. You can Google it. And it was brought here during the Depression. It was supposed to, it's from the Orient, and it's a vine that grows. And literally, you close your windows at night because it will grow in and snatch your kids almost. I mean, this stuff grows. It's unbelievable. They say they pour oil across the street so it doesn't bruise itself when it grows across. I mean, it covers telephone. Google it, KUDZU. Yeah. So they get these professors all the time, and all these scientists say, oh, we got the cure for it. And they'll bring in napalm. I don't know. They nuke it. And they bring in goats. And guess what? Next year it comes back in 5 different places. And that's exactly what's happening on these college campuses. We clip it off. We got to get to the people that are doing the hiring and firing. We got to start paying attention. These state legislators just say, y'all are cut off. Yeah. You're just cut off. You got a lesbian studies class. What the heck? What are they certified? What are they going to be doing? We need to get back to educating people have a profession. If you're going to teach them how to be a librarian, teach them how to be a librarian. If you're going to teach them how to teach, be a teacher. I have a degree in education from UT, and I was complaining to them I'm 61. It's changed a lot. I took a lot of these philosophy of education classes. I was a technological and adult education major. I was a shop major. I need to be in the inner city of all things. I need to protect myself, make sure I didn't get knifed one day. Literally, I had a kid pull a knife on me and put it across my Adam's apple in my student teaching. And I remembered him saying, "You see how it needs to be for me to kill you?" And I said, "You better do it on the first one. This is a family show. I won't tell you what all I told him." He put the knife down and said, "All right, I'm ready to go." I said, "Where are you going?" And he said, "I'm going to the office." I said, "You're not going to the office. Get back to work." He became one of my best students, but that's not, that's every day in the inner city. And our education is just missing the point. And we're trying to do social engineering, and we need to get back to teaching. We need to get back to teaching kids how to get a career. If you're going to teach them how to be a banker, be a banker. Going to be going to be a doctor, get them to med school. Don't let them waste their time with a bunch of garbage. All that is a tax revenue source. And then we bring in the foreigners. We bring in the Chinese, because the liberals think that this is the way we're going to change the world. They're going to go home and spread democracy. And no, they're not. And most of those teachers, professors are not pro-democracy anyway. They're going to infect us, is what they're going to do with communism. Yeah, there's a lot of great ones, but you get a few bad ones. And education just turned into a big money machine, and it needs to turn back into education. It was in 1976 when Jimmy Carter made it a cabinet level position. We were number one in the world. Trillions of dollars later, we're 23rd or 24th in the world. It's wrong. We got to fix this thing, and we got the opportunity. This shutdown is going to allow us the opportunity to clean some plows.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Before we let you go, what's the timeline? What do you think? How long does it last? How do we get ourselves out of this?
It's all opinion polls. It's whoever's got Schumer's ear and says we're going to do this. And also, you're going to see more Democrats peel off. When he realizes he's going to lose, he's going to try to cut some ridiculous deal, and he ain't going to get it. He needs to show, like I said, he needs to fold up, go back home, and flip raw hamburgers with cheese on them.
Mark's the pollster. Mark.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
give me something
Mark,
to work with, guys.
Yeah, when's it going to turn on him?
Well, everybody talks about the blame game. And here's the problem is, Trump plus the Republicans is blamed more than Democrats. But it's by a bunch of Trump voters, too, that want the government shut down. I've been saying this for years. If voters are given spending freezes or cuts, 56% of them support a shutdown, so like it's in the 30s that don't. Nobody really wants spending increases, not even Democrats. And so they want some drastic action. And when opinion polls were highest for Trump, it was when we were shuttering USAID and firing hundreds of thousands of people. So if we get a couple of weeks of those optics, the Democrats are going to have to fold, and his approval rating, I think, is going to shoot up.
I agree. We're going to take some hits. I mean, there's going to be some good people are caught in the crosshairs. They're just in fluctuations of the economy or things that are out of their control. But that's where good communities should suck it up and take care of them. There's so many churches in our country that should be looking out for folks instead of worrying about their pastor's country club membership.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Congressman Tim Burchett, the greatest dressed member of Congress. I have to add that to your list. Great American and the greatest dressed. Follow him on Instagram and follow him on Twitter if you want to see his outfits. He's out at like a county fair every weekend, or he's out supporting the Vols. Go Vols! And he's a great American. Congressman, you get the last word here.
Thank you. Pray for our country, brother. And I appreciate the great work y'all are doing. The conservative cause. We've got to pull our party back conservative, and we've got to cut the spending. We're going to lose our country. Yeah. No shape, form, or fashion.
You're absolutely right. Folks, please stay with us. We're coming right back with the Great America Show.
I hear every day about the products you all wish MyPillow carried. Well, guess what? We probably do. Slippers, bathrobes, pet beds, blankets, mattresses, sleepwear, loungewear, duvets, comforters, pot holders, aprons, oven mitts, and so much more. And they're all on sale. For example, get our best-selling standard My Pillows for only $14.98. Body pillows $29.98. 6-piece bath towels or kitchen towel sets just $29.98. Multi-use My Pillow 2.0s with pillowcase $9.98. Save $40 on our Spring Percale and Giza Dream bedsheet sets. Any size, any color, and so much more. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save up to 80% on all MyPillow products. And I've never done this before. When you spend $100 or more, you're going to get 2 standard MyPillows absolutely free.
Thanks, folks, for staying with us here on the Great America Show. Let's get back to it with the great Mark Mitchell of Rasmussen Reports. Mark, the cuts are already starting. Just moments ago, Russ Vogt, the director of OMB, has stripped $8 billion in funding from the Green New Scam projects in numerous Marxist-run states: California, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, Hawaii, Massachusetts.
Don't forget New Jersey.
New Hampshire, I'm getting there, New Jersey, New Mexico, New York, Oregon, Vermont, and Washington. This is exactly what you tell me the people want.
Yeah, cut it. Why are we, they can't put food on their table. Now, unfortunately, this is going to be a problem for Mikey Sherrill, because I watched a little bit of her in the Chitterelli debate, and they were asked, because there's taxes are a really big problem in New Jersey. They were asked, are you going to lower taxes? And Chitterelli's like, yes, people are hurting. Our property taxes are so high. We got a high sales tax. And he committed to lowering them. And then Mikey Sherrill tap danced around it and said, well, no, I will spend fiscally responsibly, but we'll lower our costs by lowering energy prices by building windmills. Well, I bet you those windmills are going to get a different, a second look now that they're not going to get whatever government free green energy kickback garbage.
Yeah, who falls for this shit, Mark? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to use profanity, but who falls for this? I mean, who honestly thinks, like, what person with a triple-digit IQ wakes up and says, yeah, you know what? Putting up a windmill is going to change the world, or putting up solar panels to get off of coal energy is going to change the world. Oh, let's not look at Texas, what happened when it dropped to like 30 degrees or 40 degrees, something we're used to like every day here on the Northeast, and they completely shut down their power grid. Like, who thinks it's a good idea?
Yeah, I don't think most of them. That's the problem, is that most voters are low information. They're getting their news from places that are psychologically manipulating them. And, I think a lot of it's kind of this like Yankees versus Mets mentality, where it's like, you could objectively think about why your team sucks, but it's uncomfortable. And so it's so much easier to try to find all the ways that the other team sucks. And if your team gives you any reason at all, any predicate to remain loyal, then you'll do it. I think that's one of the main problems. And we'd still be stuck there because the Democrats are cooler. We would still be stuck there if they hadn't had Joe Biden screw everything up.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. That's a great analogy between the Yankees of the Mets. Yankees are a disappointment. I have to get that in there. But it's truly remarkable that nobody on the right is smart enough. I mean, they come out, they put out these stupid talking points videos and this and that, and on Twitter, and nobody watches them. I mean, the majority of people aren't on Twitter in the first place, right? So how do you get the word out? The majority of boomer voters and everyone not past millennials, I guess. I don't even know what the categorization is after millennials, but going to the elder age. But they think that by putting out these messages and getting a lot of followers on Twitter is going to it doesn't. It really doesn't. So I feel like the message is not getting pushed forward to the American people that this whole thing is a scam. Yes, you can go out there and say the Green New Deal is a scam. Yes, we know that. But how are you going to relay to the American people? And exactly what you said. The average voter is not informed. It's not a slight. It's not a shot me taking at the voters. I'm a voter myself. The average voter is not informed. You see what you see on a TV commercial for 30 seconds, and this is the average. Now, the people who are tuning in this show, they're probably outside of this realm because they're probably very politically involved if they're tuned into the Great America Show. But the average person outside of it, your wife or my sister or whatever, it may be, who live a normal life, who don't have the stress of politics every single day, they don't know what the hell's going on, and they're probably mentally sane for it.
Yeah, that's, and I felt, again, love Tim Burchett, but there were a few tells in there to me, and I'm not blaming him, I'm just saying the environment of Republicans in Washington, D.C. still has a messaging problem, because I mentioned economic populism pretty strongly there, but he sort of signed out with a call towards conservatism. Well, if you guys watching this know what a luxury belief is, if you look at progressivism, oh, we need to save the climate. Oh, we need to, deal with all of these hidden systemic racism. Like, those are luxury beliefs. Those are beliefs that work when everything is super copacetic. Everybody's got money. Everybody can find a job. But so is conservatism. That's the problem that people on the right don't get. The person that's like a single mother who can't find a full-time job, can't like pay to, she doesn't want to hear, oh, well, we're going to cut the taxes of a major corporation and it's going to trickle down on your head. They don't want to hear that. And so the political landscape is changing so fast that I just don't think the right is going to be able to deal with it at all.
Yeah,
they're already having a hard time dealing with Twitter.
Yeah, I have a hard time. Listen, don't hit the soft spots. I have a hard time dealing with Twitter too. You're absolutely right, 150% right. And this is why Donald Trump is so loved among blue-collar workers, among people without college degrees, which, once again, I'm not taking a bash at you. I think people who have college degrees like myself and you are dumber than people who didn't waste the money to go to college. But it's why Donald Trump was able to appeal to the blue-collar workers, the people that built this country, the people that go out to work every day and make sure that this country runs on a granular level, make sure our cars run, make sure we have air conditioning and heat in buildings, make sure infrastructure is going up, make sure that whatever, making sure that our everyday lives can go normally, the people who work at grocery stores. Okay. That is why Donald Trump was so popular among them, because he broke everything down for these people to understand, you guys are being robbed, you guys are being scammed, and this is how I'm going to help you. Sort of like I'm from the government and I'm here to help, except he wasn't from the government at that point. The way that you're making it seem, and I happen to agree with you, is the Republican Party is trying to sort back to macro politics, to the country club era style of conservatism, where it's just, let's cut billions of dollars, which I'm for. I'm absolutely for cutting billions of dollars in taxes for corporations. It's what makes everything grow. Okay. But they're missing the point of the granular level that people like you and I are friends with understand.
Yeah. Americans wanted to drain the swamp. Almost 70% of Americans thought it was likely that elected representatives are all secretly grifting off the American taxpayer. 72% are angry at the level of waste, fraud, and abuse. And the only person doing anything drastic about it is Donald Trump. And the Republicans still don't really seem to appreciate that. This is not about the word conservatism at all. I actually proposed, and I'll retweet it right now. If people want to go look, it'll be somewhere in the last couple hours on my Twitter feed. The new political spectrum. We've all seen the one about economic freedom versus authoritarianism, right? The 4-color spectrum. Mm-hmm. Well, I propose one that on one axis is trust in authority figures, and on the other axis is grift tolerance, how willing you are to accept waste. And so you have people who high trust in authority and also tolerate a lot of theft. That's like your Democrats. They say long live the system. Yeah. Then you have low authority trust, but high grift tolerance. That's like, man, I really wish that was my system. I think that's a lot of the people surrounding Donald Trump right now. Let's take over this machine that is so lucrative. Then you have people who trust authority, but they don't tolerate any grift. Well, that's like, well, we need to put Fauci's in charge of the government. These people are smarter. They'll figure this out. But where is 70% of America? They're in the people that don't trust authority at all, and they won't tolerate any grift. They want to burn the system down. The problem is the Republicans are not there with them. They're up in the long live the system quadrant.
So how do we get ourselves out of it, Mark?
Well, I mean, we'll see if Trump's going to burn the system down. Like, that's what, you know what I mean? It's like
let me ask it this way: on a granular
in
level,
Minecraft, like not actually with fire, you know.
Yeah, of course, in case the FBI is watching. On a granular level, what do you suggest if you're running the show right now? Where would you start?
I think the happiest man in America is Russ Vought right now. Yeah. And I hope that we get back to this. Could be, Donald Trump's had some wins with the courts. I haven't been keeping track of all of them. There's probably a lot in that Project 2025 handbook that the left likes to complain about. There's probably a lot of criminal investigations and things happening behind the scenes. I would love to get back to this whole shock and awe thing that really completely, I mean, all of January and February, starting with the inauguration, the press was just not able to keep up. It was like really till about Liberation Day where they got back on their feet, just because all of the stuff that was being unveiled, everybody's like, oh my God, it's way worse than I thought. Well, it's still worse than everybody thought. They've just, been refocused on other concerns.
Do you consider Pete Hegseth's address to the top military brass yesterday a good start to let them know that the days of this nonsense, the days of your friends wearing bondage masks and military garb are over, Mark?
I love that so much because there was so much buried in there. First off, all those people look down on Trump. They don't, you know what I mean? They don't appreciate that.
And Hegseth too.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. That's the upstart that got promoted over them. They all covet that role, once they become a civilian or whatever.
Hey, bootleg thing, man.
Yeah, but now those people are going to have to PT on every duty day. You're going to have generals out there in gym shorts leading people like singing marching chants while they do a flight deck shuffle around the Pentagon. I love it. And they have to PT. They have to do the physical test twice. I bet you there's some like Chungus folks that can't get off the rear, smoking 3 packs a day, who are all of a sudden going to have to run a 13-minute mile and a half. And good luck, guys. But what I like is so my politics, I've said this many times, is I just think voters should get what they want unless it's stupid. And what I mean by that is there's like a whole bunch of things that are 70% positions, and I scream at Trump and Republicans to do them. But then there's other things that aren't, but they're the right things to do. And people want women in combat. Now, they also say, well, they shouldn't have a different physical standard. People want transsexuals. They were split on whether trannies should be in the military or not. They don't want taxpayer-funded bottom surgeries, but they're like, well, if they want to serve, fine. But it's bad. Like, it's a wrong decision. And to see him come out and take a leadership stance, that will also change people's opinions.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. Was that a poll that you did that people want trannies in the military?
It was like 42 to 43 for and against.
Wow. That's very interesting. And who do they suggest they room with?
You're answering one of multiple questions. You don't think about things like that. That's polling's not perfect. It's hard.
I know if I'm in the military, I'm not, and I'm a girl. I don't want some 6'3" freak sleeping next to me, surgery or not. It's just the way it is.
Most people aren't in the military, won't be in the military, don't think about being in the military, and are concerned about our foreign enemies and say, well, more cannon fodder, I guess, for the globalist NATO wars of expansion.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. So going back to the shutdown, I mean, what do you think a realistic timeline is on this thing? I mean, how long do you think we sit in this, I guess I consider it as a pilot, a holding pattern?
Well, we talked about the escalating division in America about things like this, and I think there's not a lot of tolerance for the spending, and that people want draft. I'll give you an example. Fascist is a dirty word. A lot of people don't know what it is, but they know they're not supposed to like it. Yeah. And we just polled on, it's like, okay, we got a really good quote that somebody made about Jimmy Kimmel. And it was like, basically, fascism isn't coming to America. It's already here. Yeah. And Americans actually agreed with that because of Trump, 58 to 38. It was like plus 20. But it was like a lot of people who strongly approve of Trump. And so there's like, sure, it's fascist. Shut that guy up. Like people want action. That's why they want this guy in North Carolina executed. That's why they want National Guard troops rolling through the cities. Again, it's almost to the point where the Constitution ostensibly is a luxury belief. I like the Constitution. Americans like the Constitution. It's not a suicide pact. America is more than a sheet of paper.
Yeah. I want to ask you something, because this is something sort of interesting. And now the government, I think historically doesn't really like shutdowns, right? They don't, the markets don't like, I should say the markets.
I didn't even answer your question.
We'll come back.
Yeah.
Go ahead. What's your estimate on the?
I just think it's I don't know, because they are not negotiating right now, and that's what they should be doing. They should be negotiating for a bipartisan deal that is better for Republicans and Democrats, but they're not. And one of the reasons they're not is because the forces behind the leftists, and I asked Representative Burchett about this, he didn't really respond to it. Why does Soros want the government shut down? Why does all of Reddit want the government shut down? Why does AOC and all their supporters and all the money want the government shut down? Because they're going to get wrecked over it in public opinion, is my assessment. And so that calculus means this could go like, there's no way to know why.
I'm excited to announce that we're having a huge sale on overstock and brand new products. For example, My Pillow Percale bed sheets, every color, every style, every size, only $29.88. Our Percale bed sheets are breathable, cool and crisp, and they're perfect for spring and summer. And check out Rev 7, the next generation of energy drinks. It tastes great, and it gives you energy all day with no jitters and no crashes. Best of all, it's actually good for you. And for a limited time, try our 3-pack absolutely free. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save 20% on our Rev 7 12-packs, or try our introductory 3-pack absolutely free. And our Percale bed sheets, all sizes, only $29.88. Twin size, full size, queen size, king sizes, all $29.88. Inventory is extremely limited at this price, so order now.
And the ones to take the fall is going to be the Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi, Hakeem Jeffries wing of the party, which will set up a perfect, which is I think exactly what Burchett laid out. Will lay out a perfect shoo-in for AOC to run for Senate. And I think, I'm not the pollster here, but just looking at it on his face, I think she's probably got a pretty good shot of beating out old Chuck Schumer. Just based on his likability and how he eats his raw burgers with cheese. Going back to what I was saying, the market today, the S&P hitting a 6,700 for the first time, hitting a new high, indices all up a little bit today. They usually don't like any sort of uncertainty inside the government. What do you think the markets are saying right now? Is change coming, or is it business as usual?
Yeah, I really don't know. I mean, it's like it could just be an inflationary momentum trade to just be long risk because it's all fake anyways. And people are just like gambling, and then they'll head for the exits as fast as they can when there's finally a turnaround. I really don't know. I mean, there's a lot of negative things about the economy too, but everybody yesterday was like, yeah, the market is going to crash tomorrow. And it did not. And so, well, here's the other thing too, is like how much of the market now, I don't know about the S&P, but like versus the NASDAQ and stuff like that, is all of these technology giants that have built their entire engineering departments on H-1B labor. And now Trump puts out something that's going to drastically increase the cost of their labor. Did those stocks go down? I don't know about that. Like, why?
They're cruising. Apple's sitting at around $250 a share. I mean, they're all sitting high. I don't know if they think that President Trump will cave on the H-1B thing. I don't think he does. I think he's made his position strong already. I don't think J.D. Vance is interested in caving in on it. Vivek Ramaswamy was the one who decided he was going to be the one to distance himself from, I guess, the populace opinion on trying to hire Americans. Ramaswamy came out and said, Americans are dumb and lazy. We need more Indians.
Yeah. That was the mask off moment right there. That ruined his presidential hopefuls ambition.
It's just so beyond
the room.
Yeah. I think though, Mark, I think all things aside right now, I think the government, I feel, is in I think we're in a good position right now as a government. I think we're in a pretty good position right now with President Trump leading the fight. We're in a government shutdown, but it doesn't seem like it seems sort of peaceful to me.
Well, there's a new crazy shooter every other day, and you do have, I mean, the part that gets me is that I do like the government being shut down. It's going to save us a ton of money. It's going to show people that it doesn't really affect their lives more than it already has. Because the last one, people are like, oh, actually, it had no impact on me. 80%. said it had a minor or no impact. So it's nice to get those messages reinforced that no, you don't need to be subservient to a massive federal government. And again, I think that if they're smart, Trump will go hog wild and just totally wreck this thing in a way that he hasn't been able to. But the problem is that he's not going to get any executive orders codified into law then. Like, is he?
No, I mean,
go ahead. Sorry. Well, I mean, they need to pass a budget reconciliation bill. They're unwilling to use the nuclear option to get rid of the 60-vote filibuster closure, thing.
Yeah.
And so they can't pass legislation now. They're not going to be able to pass it. So that's the end of Trump's legislative. It's like, I don't know what you want with the trade-off. Are the Republicans going to need to get back into power so that they can pass their 3,000-page rescission bill and pay all of their special interests? Yeah, they might be the ones that came first.
You're right. What's their excuse? What is Thune's excuse for not being able to do it? I mean, how can he go out and campaign and say, well, you gave us the power, but I refuse to go nuclear and get rid of the 60-vote threshold to pass whatever needs to be passed and put forth the agenda that Americans overwhelmingly voted for on November 5th. Who takes the blame?
I think they have to go nuclear, John.
Yeah. And this is, this is on John Thune. And we've spoken about, to Mike Johnson's credit, I think Mike Johnson is doing a fairly decent job right now. John Thune, I still feel like behind the scenes is a snake slithering in the grass, figuring out what avenues he can take to just be a sleaze.
Yeah, I mean, he's bought and paid for by pharma and probably 500 other industries as well. He's not what voters wanted for sure, and yet that was like one of the first signs. Everybody woke up and they're like, wait, what's on this list? Like, who are the list of these people? Yeah. And it's like, well, behind the scenes, he was getting massive checks personally cut to him by pharmaceutical CEOs, and it's like, okay, well, maybe that doesn't affect how he does his job, but then it's like, okay, well, RFK's coming to testify before the Senate. Oh yeah, he's got to answer hard questions about how he fired the head of the CDC. He's going to have to hear about that. Like, dude, so I don't know. They need to go nuclear. I think it will be one of those. And everybody says, oh, the Democrats are going to do it back. Yes, that's fine. You want that. When they get in power, they can put their stupid crap through and Americans can be horrified by it. That's how this system is supposed to work.
Yeah. We've got a new meme. President Trump is not relenting on the Democrats right now. And he's holding them accountable for the situation that they've got this country in right now. There's no one else to blame but themselves. I'm going to pull up on the screen for all of us now to enjoy the trolling that President Trump is continuing to do to Chuck Schumer until he decides he's going to own this government shutdown. Let's see if I can do technology here, Mark. You're far better at this than I am. I think we've got it up. Do we?
No.
There we go. If everyone could see that right now, this is the Democrats, Chuck Schumer. We're all trying to find out the guy who did this, who put him in the hot dog suit. This is from the official White House account, Mark.
Oh, man.
I mean, better than that.
Who posts these, man?
Someone who needs a big pay raise, I'd say.
Is it that big guy? What's his name? No, the other one. The younger guy.
Taylor Budowich?
No, he's like Asian.
Oh, Stephen Chung.
Yeah,
possibly.
Man,
it's crazy to think this is the times we're living in right now, but to try to make some light out of, it's absolutely.
I spent like an hour looking at memes last night. There's a hilarious one of the one. Remember the flashbang one where a guy's dropping a flashbang down the stairs? Then it was Trump dropping a sombrero on Hakeem Jeffries.
Oh man, and this is why the Democrats are so unlikable, Mark. They literally cannot resonate with any sort of like. You wouldn't even want to. I've had many drinks and dinners with members of Congress. Some of them like wet paint, dry paint, what paint drying on a wall, and other very normal, good, decent people. I can't think of any Democrat I'd want to sit down and have a beer or have dinner with. I really can't think of one.
Yeah,
just like a normal dude. Maybe John Fetterman.
Yeah. you know what? Like, I don't have time for people who are unable to be intellectually honest. That's ultimately what it would be like. I mean, it wouldn't be like sitting down next to a demon reeking of sulfur. It would just be like, well, this human has a different frame of cognition than me, and we're never going to really find common ground because they're not going to be able to address the inconsistencies that I point out. And so it's like, you know, you can try and teach a pig to sing, but at the end of the day, it's not going to work, and you're just going to make the pig unhappy. So, like, I think that's what it is. You know, you can't negotiate. It's all ad hominem. They have a party line. It's part of their religion. They want to stay faithful, and they can't address the cognitive dissonances.
Yeah, you're right. 154,000 bureaucrats exiting the payrolls this week, Mark.
Okay.
It seems the federal takeover in Chicago may be coming finally. ICE doing some massive raids this afternoon there. It's nice to see through it all that ICE is not taking any time off from the government payroll.
Dude, I kid you not, John. You might not know this because you don't watch movies, and you should watch Starship Troopers. I sent you the link.
I will. I promise. I'm going to Vegas. We're doing some interviews out in Vegas this weekend with some country music stars. The audience will have to hang tight and see who it is, but it's a big one. I will watch it on that plane ride tomorrow.
You're gonna like it. You're gonna appreciate it. It was way ahead of its time. The commentary on government is incredible in there. But can you believe that Hollywood just this week put out a movie about Antifa terrorists attacking ICE agents?
No,
it's true.
Where is it on? Is it on Netflix?
No, it's like in the theaters, and it's getting absolutely wrecked, believe it or not. But yeah, it takes a while to make these things, so it's not like they planned it based on recent events, but they could have held this movie and they did not. And what's it called?
You know, the crazy thing to this, Mark, while you're finding it to me about
One Battle After Another.
What is it on? What platform?
No, in theaters.
Oh, it's in theaters. I'm sorry. You said that.
Yeah.
The crazy thing to me, Mark, is you like the rhetoric, right? Everyone wants to talk about the rhetoric. Donald Trump puts out dangerous rhetoric. He's going to get people hurt, this and that. The rhetoric from the left for the last year and a half, 2 years, Mark, has gotten a president nearly assassinated, shot in the ear, has gotten an innocent young man assassinated, has got ICE agents having to worry about their lives every single day, has got police officers quitting their jobs at record levels. Right here in New York City, I have family members who are cops who, after 1 year on the job, after waiting 5 years to get that job and doing 6 months of training, decided to call it quits because they know they have mayors and governors who don't back them. You would think, after everything that we've seen go on, police officers assassinated, that they would tone down the rhetoric. But once you see a president nearly get assassinated and they turn it up, to me, there's no end in sight, and they will stop at nothing until that man is assassinated.
Yeah, it defies they've burned so many assets to try and keep Donald Trump out of office. And now they're destroying their businesses because the culture has moved against them, because they basically grifted too close to the sun. MSNBC, we looked at it. You and I talked about it. The rating it's like the 900th ranked website in the U.S. and they did it to themselves. They had to know that they were in a slow motion train wreck as it happened. So why? And the only thing that I can come back to is that, like at the end of Starship Troopers, it's afraid. The system is afraid, and we don't have to go into it. You and I talked about it. You were a lot more closely involved than I was. But the stuff that you got sued over is coming back to a surface in a way that's garnering a lot more attention because Twitter is a free and open marketplace right now. And the implications are absolutely staggering for people who don't know what I'm talking about. It's about voting companies and what has been alleged to be a multinational criminal cartel to undermine Americans' elections and 71 other countries, apparently.
Yeah, and nothing's been done about it. As I told you this afternoon on the phone when we spoke, it's as soon as we decided to speak out about it on Fox News, the lawsuits came in, the firings started. It was like, no, you're not to talk about this. You're not to open that cabinet and see what's inside. Otherwise, we'll use the power of a corrupt judiciary to come after you, everybody you love, and everybody you work with, to ensure that you guys stop talking about it. And we'll sue you into an oblivion like they've done to Mike Lindell. We'll sue you into an oblivion like they've done to Newsmax and many other organizations, unless you stop talking about it. That's not the America I know, Mark, that there's, I mean, you're not even allowed to have dialogue, and not even to mention that, but they've sued for defamation for billions of dollars on corporations that aren't even worth billions of dollars, not even worth a fraction of what they've sued for. And they've gotten settlements of $800 million, still not worth the company. I'm sure not even half the worth of the company. But this is the judiciary that when you go to judge shop and go to court shop, you get. And it sets a dangerous, you hear the Democrats talk about this, setting dangerous precedents. This sets a dangerous precedent when you can't even have dialogue about corruption in your own elections.
Well, it doesn't even work anymore. America has seen behind the Wizard of Oz. They have seen that it isn't the big, the election of 2020. We tracked the numbers the whole time. After the election, it was in the 40s where people were like, something kind of stinks, 48, 7 or 8%. It got up to 64%, 66%, I think, of Americans who thought the 2020 election was affected by cheating. When you were banned off of every single social media, not anybody but Tucker, and Lou Dobbs, like who else was really talking about it? Not really anybody, right? And what they did was they ran a gaslighting operation called the Big Lie. They said it was the Big Lie. And I talked to people. I was working at Walmart at the time, and all of these NPCs will literally said, "Oh, well, they're not one single court has seen any evidence." Well, obviously the cases were all dismissed on standing, and anybody with a brain was like, "This does not make sense." Well, I don't know what's coming. But what I do know is that there was a legal document filed in a court just recently in the Tina Peters case that alleges that they have the testimony of a whistleblower from a Venezuelan voting machine company who says exactly how it all happens, including the fact that there was an intervention in Serbia in this election, 9:02 p.m., and that is what actually prevented this deal. So if that's true, then that means that something was happening behind the scenes. We don't know what.
Very, very interesting. I guess we'll have to follow up and check in on that and see what the deal is, because we need to get to the bottom of what happened in 2020. Otherwise, it'll continue to happen. As you said, it's to happen in this last election. Mark Mitchell, we could talk for another 2-3 hours, but I know you probably got to go feed the dogs and the kids, the 10 kids you have. You get the last word here.
But I like this is it, right? If we actually don't live in a representative democracy, we should probably try to figure that out, because it's like, okay, well, mail-in ballot fraud. Okay, maybe we shouldn't have mail-in ballots. It's like, okay, people running off, ballots behind the scenes with the makeup ballot printer and stuffing them in. Okay, well, that could be fixed with audits and stuff like that. But what we're talking about here, if it's true, means like we literally do not live in a representative democracy. So anyways, that's sort of important if you're trying to be a good pollster. So anyways, that's what we'll be wrestling with, I guess, or hope over the next 12 months or so. If you want to hear more, Rasmussen_poll on Twitter and also on YouTube.
And at Honest Pollster on Twitter, the great Mark Mitchell. Mark, we'll see you next week, my friend. Thanks so much for being with us.
Yeah, great to be here.
The great Mark Mitchell. Thanks, folks, for being with us today here on the Great America Show. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Truth, justice, and the American way continues. Until then, may God bless you. May God bless America. And may God bless the great Lou Dobbs. Have a great night, everybody. God bless you all.